Good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. The UK is finished. Have you seen the new Jaguar? What a woke monstrosity that is. Deliveroo are using illegal migrants to deliver your shit food. Just Eat are doing the same. Starmer is wrecking the country. I think he's part of a demolition team. Donald Trump is banned from speaking in Parliament. But little Macron, he was allowed to give us all a bollocking last week. Who does he think he is? And illegal migration is completely out of control. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you want to make a comment, just write at the bottom of your screen if you're on YouTube, and I will read them out and feed them into the discussion. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gents, the UK is finished. The UK as you and I know it. We've been invaded. We've been overtaken by the woke idiots. And no one in power is telling you the truth, either on the Labour benches or indeed on the Conservatives. They are all liars. This country is going to hell in a handcart, and they don't give a fig because they're the self-serving pigs with their snouts in the trough. Illegal immigration, completely out of control. Last week, we had the chocolate fireguard policy of one in, one out, which, as I said at the time, would never happen because the EU would complain. And guess what's happened? The EU, 6 EU countries are saying no to it, and it's just not going to get off the ground. People were saying, oh, it's your fault because of Brexit, Gaunty. People like you and Farage, Nigel Farage. We could return people when we were in the EU because of the Dublin Agreement, which is true. However, did you know that the amount of people we returned versus the people who came here was still massively out of kilter? So the idea that Brexit made it worse is rubbish. And I've had morons all weekend saying, look at this graph. Look how many small boats there were before Brexit. And of course, there weren't any because all the illegal migrants, thousands of them, were coming in on lorries or coming on the Channel Tunnel. It's a fact, but it doesn't suit the socialist narrative, does it? They just want to pick our country apart at every opportunity. They're doing it today. I've mentioned Jaguar. Go woke, go broke. These people are acting as if it's new news. It was out months ago. Yes, it's a concept car, but they're actually building a version of it now. I know because I know people who work at Jag. I also know that most people at Jag think it's absolute rubbish. It's rubbish. And they have thrown out the brand, including the logo. They are basically attacking our tradition, our culture, our history. Skilled engineering that's gone on in Coventry, and indeed, it's got to be said, and in Liverpool and in Erdington in Birmingham, they are throwing that on the scrap heap. It's all part of this. It's all linked. All these things are linked. Like Starmer, he's dreaming of a new Britain. It's called Europe. That's what he's dreaming of. Macron comes over last week. He is a federalist. He's a failure. People hate him in France. His popularity is nearly as bad as Keir Starmer's. But we're meant to listen to him and take a bollocking off him. I say none. I say no. I say get out, Macron. And be careful because it's only your missus giving you a slap at the moment. You'll get a slap off a lot of other people too if you're not careful. And the same for Starmer. Absolutely ridiculous. It's as if he wants to wreck our country. And what was all that handshake about with Macron? Does anybody know? It was all peculiar, wasn't it? A bit queer, a bit odd. I didn't mean queer like that. Just odd, strange. Grown men don't do that, do they? And I've just had some moron on Twitter slagging me off, saying, oh, you've been proved wrong and you're doubling down. If you don't like me, don't listen. Then I looked at his thread. He was raving about going to see Oasis. He's about 50, this bloke. Grow up, son. I've forgotten your name. And I wouldn't give you a name check anyway, because that would just make you feel big. It would give you a tingle in your pants, wouldn't it? Now then, migrants are working in the black economy. improved whilst living in taxpayer-funded hotels. They're picking up $1,000 in accommodation and other bits and bobs of benefits. They've got a bike, which they're paying back on tick, and they're working for companies like Deliveroo and Just Eat. Now, I could say that those companies and others like them have been turning a blind eye. I better be careful and say, I'm sure it's just an oversight. However, now that the government have woken up to what I've been telling them for months, they say they're going to clamp down on it. How? How are they going to clamp down on it? And will they? Answer, no. And you've got some responsibility here. I've had a massive reaction on X or Twitter and Facebook when I talked about this. We shouldn't buy, well, I don't do it anyway, but from now on, don't order through delivery. Don't order through Just Eat. Hit them where it hurts, in the pocket, on the bottom line. These massive corporations are taking the piss out of us, and we've got to stand up to it. And these migrants, I'm not blaming them. They've come here. They want to better their lives. But we can't have 20,000 in, and we can't spend £8 million a day on hotels for them. I've told you what the answer is. Put them in tents, send back videos, and get them out of tax-funded hotels. But by the same token, Deliveroo and Just Eat, why should they be making profit out of other people's misery? I sound like the Sex Pistols there, don't I? What's your view? Our national identity is being sold off, and not even to the highest bidder, to the lowest bidder. And it starts at the top with people like Starmer, because people like Starmer, excuse me a moment, they hate us. They hate us, particularly the white working class. They hate you and me. Starmer wants to reimagine Britain as some kind of region of the European Union. Only thing is, the majority of people voted out. He's trying to change that again, along with Macron. And Jaguar is part of this as well. Why would you change a symbol of British engineering? Why would you ditch those roots? Why would you go full woke and say, well, we don't want our old customers. That's not what we are. They've even changed the logo. And it matters. See, I've had a load of lefty socialist sixth former types today saying it doesn't matter. You're just old. You're gammon. You're this, you're that. Right? And just like when I spoke about beer the other week and I had that fantastic response, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people talking to me about, yes, it's great on a Friday afternoon when it's sunny to have a beer. Not the socialists. They came on going, oh, it's not a beer. It's Italian lager. Even though when I told them, no, it's not, they wouldn't shut up. These people hate our country. What these tweets and what this show will prove as well is just how many of the enemy are living within our communities. They are here. They are non-achievers. Probably haven't got an O-level, but have probably got one art O-level like Roddy out of the specials. They've got no skill, no talent. Roddy's got a lot of skill. I'm not blaming him. But these people have got nothing in their drab, miserable socialist lives. So they want to attack anybody. But they attack me because I was very successful. And as you know, I fell out and had that trouble. And then I was very poorly, nearly died. They attack me. Oh, you're a has-been. I often will think, though, I'd rather have been a has-been. I'd rather have been than not been at all, like you pathetic social workers, pathetic teachers working in some drab, comprehensive, propagandizing our children and turning our children into carbon copies of you. God, what a disaster this country's become. And now, of course, we've let the French President Macron speak in our parliament. He told us all off. Who does the jumped-up little twerp think he is? They hate him in France. But we had to listen to him. And then all the morons on Twitter, oh, he's right. Yeah, we could return people before. And it's all Nigel Farage's fault. Like it was all Nigel Farage's fault for the riots. They called them the Farage riots. Nothing to do with Farage. It was all to do with Starmer not telling us about Rudy Cabana. And no wonder, because it was his organization, Prevent, which was closely associated with what he used to be the boss of course. Yes, yes, yes. And so it's all part of his reimagining or re-engineering of Britain. So he caused the riots. Well, he was largely to blame. It was not Nigel Farage. And then Macron comes. And the more I think about it, you don't think Macron was just talking off script, was he? I reckon most of that had been organised and agreed, especially King Charles, what he had to say. Starmer knew what was coming. Everybody hates Starmer apart from Macron. I don't know why, but that's what it's like. It's like Millwall, except there's no charm. There's more charm with Millwall. There was no charm. Everybody hates you. Have you seen his approval ratings again? Through the floor. Why are we letting them do this to our great country, the country of Shakespeare, the country that basically invented everything? We had a fantastic empire. Yes, there were bad things about it. And yes, our kids should learn about that as well. But I'm fed up. I'm fed up of putting on the horsehair shirts. And I'm fed up of being lectured by tin pot dictators like Macron, who can't even stand up to his own wife. His own wife decks him. What a joke that bloke is. But where is the outrage? What are you doing? I don't see you getting that angry. Are you letting them take away our values, our tradition, our culture, our history? Are you not going to put up a fight? I don't mean riot on the streets. But are you not? Because I think it's worth fighting for. And I've had enough of these unelected, well, they're not all unelected, some of them are elected, these people who want to change Britain. There's nothing wrong with Britain. Britain was fine. Multiculturalism doesn't work. We all know that. But the idea of multi-religions was working. There was no real problem before 7/7 and 9/11, and even after 7/7. There were no mass attacks on Muslims, was there? We're tolerant. Did you watch Live Aid this week? Look how brilliant that was. No Palestinian or Hamas flags in the audience. People just trying to help other people. Oh, and they were black people we were helping in Africa. Oh, yeah. But now, of course, that's white privilege, isn't it? Oh, all the whiteys doing it. We can't have that. What about black people? You make us out as if, we're always got our hands out. And for God's sake, give me a break. I'm proud of my white skin. Just like if you're black, you can be proud of your black skin, or Asian, your brown skin. It doesn't matter. And we were like that until all of this virtue signaling started. And they are wrecking our great country. And so Macron spoke in Parliament. But Donald Trump's announced he's coming over in the next few weeks. Well, he's coming first to Scotland, isn't he? And then, which is part of the UK. And then he's coming, of course, on his state visit. But they've planned it so he arrives a day after Parliament stops sitting. It's a snub to the leader of the free world. And Nigel Farage is correct when he says Parliament should be recalled for that day so that the leader of the free world, Donald Trump, can speak to our parliamentarians. And I agree with Nigel from Reform UK. Do you? So as you can see in this video, I'm going to pull no punches. We're going to talk about mass immigration, especially illegal immigration, which is changing our country. And I'm sorry, it's not changing our country for the good. Diversity is a strength in some ways when it's well controlled and managed, and it's people who have come in and have contributed. I can't see how letting 20,000 people turn up in dinghies is a mass contribution. It isn't. It patently isn't. Look at the sex attacks. Look at the crime. Look at the social problems we've got. And if you don't believe me, have a look at Ireland and where that's got to, and have a look at Spain, where there's riots on the street. Is that what you want to see happen here? Because that is what's going to happen unless you stand up to this nonsense now and say to Starmer, enough is enough. You are a miserable failure. Effing resign. Go. And I don't care who takes over for him. Bring back the lettuce, say I. So we're talking about mass, uncontrolled immigration. One in, one out. It's absolute BS. We're talking about corporate betrayal. How come Deliveroo and Just Eat. He calls them in, has a chat with them, and they say, "Oh yeah, we better double up on our check-in, and we'll do that, Prime Minister." Will they? I don't see any slowdown on it. The streets of Coventry, where I live, are still full of these twats on their bikes, and I'm not picking on the individual asylum seeker, illegal immigrant, whatever you want to call them, because they're just trying to earn a living. But why weren't they fined? They admitted they were wrong. Yeah, we're hands up. Yeah, we got that wrong. Fine them. You don't need Deliveroo and Just Eat. You don't need the cancer that they're delivering to you lukewarm on a bike by some scruffy illegal immigrant. You don't need it. You ever thought about cooking? There's a novel idea. Yes. So we've got to do our part as well. So, but there's corporate betrayal. I can't believe they've got away with that. And political I had that at the weekend as well. Somebody said, "Oh, you're only picking on companies who employ black or brown people." They could see waithism in the opening of a packet of crisps. Shut up, you wimps. So we've got political weakness as well. And we've also got the death of British pride. I love my country. Don't you? So if you care about the future of this country, stay tuned. Can you start hitting the like button and write your thoughts at the bottom of the screen so I can read them out? I'm coming to them now. Thank you very much indeed. 13 likes, that's not bad, but we could do with some more. Let's go to Pip Tomlinson. He says that new Jaguar car is about as appealing as this Labour government. Can't really argue with that. Thank you. Somebody else said, "Why is it blue? It looks like it's covered. It's covered in a condom." To which my witty riposte on X was, "You won't be getting any sex in that car." Oh, Mary's here. Look, she's shown up just to slag me off. Mr. Negativity is on again. All right, Mary, you give us some positivity. Tell me what we can celebrate in standard Britain tonight. Mary, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining in. It all helps. Why don't you donate something? I'm obviously keeping you alive, love. Donate a £5. Come on, buy me a coffee. www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. Let's go move on. The Fabian Society, Bill West, says a secret communist group, many members of the Labour Party who want to destroy the country from within are members of it. They are. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with everything you're saying, but fair enough. Trump will not be amused when he realised he's been outmaneuvered. I was looking forward to hearing him tell them in Parliament what is what. Yes, so was I, my friend, because it's quite obvious he would lay into them, and they don't want that. Bill West says mass immigration is vote rigging. Well, it is in the sense of if they end up getting the vote, but they're going to do that anyway. They're going to let 16-year-old kids who haven't even started to shave. Talking of which, I should have had one. I do apologise. I had a busy day. I'm down at my daughter's again, dog sitting, as you can see. Thank you, Bill. And then he's got another quick one. I'll just mention it. How many MPs are landlords? Good question. Chopper MK50 with Jaguar. We have the E-Type, the S-Type, the X-Type. Now we have the LGBTQ type. That is spot on. Yeah, because this is what I was trying to say to the people earlier. Was saying, how can a blue car be woke? What do you mean? And you say, have you been in a coma? Did you miss the press release? Did you miss the advert? Do you remember the advert? They had an advert for a new car with no car in it. And then it was all sort of multi-racial, multinational, different sexual genders or whatever they are, all mixing in. And it was all scarves and it was all pretty and it was all beautiful. Jaguar has sold 40 cars in the intervening months. It's dying on its arse. So when I said go woke, go broke, it was probably true. You see what I mean? T1000 says, good evening, Patriots. Thank you very much indeed. The Chipman says, evening all. Evening, Mr. Gaunt. Thank you, the Chipman. On, I don't know why it's called the Chipman. On, what do you call it? YouTube. Good to have you on board, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Well, rest in peace, Great Britain. I feel angry every day, says Denise Deacon. I don't know how much my blood pressure can take. I've probably got 25 years left at most on this planet, but it's my grandchildren I fear for as well. Well, I agree with you entirely. What's going to be left for them? What is going to? There's no jobs, and AI. We're all using it, and it's going to be more and more part of our society. Is this what he's after? Is he trying to cause civil unrest so we end up killing each other? I don't know. I just can't work out what Starmer's doing. Everything he touches turns to SH1T, the Midas touch in reverse. And he's going to lose this thing about one in, one out. It's a non-starter, isn't it? Anyone could tell him that. Anyone could tell him, look, these lads on bikes, they're working illegally. There must be some way they're getting around it. Can't you clamp down on it? The boats. We had one rubber dinghy slashed by the French police, but they're still coming. Why aren't you on top of it, Starmer? It's just nonsense. And he just lies constantly, doesn't he? That's because he's a narcissist. He thinks he's got the answer. I used to be the director of public property prosecution. Yeah, but you didn't prosecute Jimmy Savile, did you? Do you see what I mean? No one is allowed to argue with him. People who use these firms don't know who's delivering their food. They could be and have been rapists, thieves, even terrorists. They could poison their food. Yeah, you're going a bit over the top there, but I know what you mean, Colin. I wouldn't have the food anyway. It's rubbish. I had it once, and we had a pizza, and by the time it came, it was like eating cardboard. This was years ago. And I just can't say, get off your fat lardy ass and cook something. And if you can't, go to the chippy or go to the Indian, go to the Chinese restaurant and buy it. You don't have to have it delivered. You're not that important. And it's not like in the old days. I was just thinking earlier, I've got into EastEnders recently. I've been watching it with the mother-in-law. She likes it. And I was thinking earlier, I'm going to make sure I've got to go and do a bit of shopping as soon as I finish it. Get myself some tea. I thought, well, I don't have to watch EastEnders at 7:30. I've got it on my computer. I'll watch it when I want to watch it. And we're all like that. But so why are we almost in thrall to these companies? And I put up a tweet earlier. I just wanted to read it out if it's okay with you about this. Where I said the UK is finished. Migrants in taxpayer-funded hotels are delivering your takeaway through Deliveroo. Jaguar has gone woke and therefore broke. Macron is speaking in our parliament, but Trump is banned. We've simply lost the plot. We have. And meanwhile, then I followed it all with this one. Don't worry, Britain's fine. Because that's how Starmer's portraying it. Macron speaks in our parliament. Migrants deliver our food. Jaguar goes woke and broke. Trump is banned. There's nothing to see here. Clap, clap, clap. Move on. It's just a complete and utter farce. And they won't let Trump talk in Parliament, sorry, I'm just clicking you off there. Says Nigel Gordon, thank you for your comment. You know what you get with Millwall. No U-turns. That's good. Well, that's true. I was talking about Millwall earlier. Sorry if I've upset Millwall fans comparing Starmer to you. It's not really fair of me. Bill West, I'm sorry, mate. You're just doing too many comments, and I'm not going to read them all out. So just slow down, because other people have got to get on as well. Just one-line comments. Unless they're genius, I'm not going to read them out because you're just trying to dominate it. And it can't happen. It's got to be fair. Michael Wilmot says, Britain, the shithole of the world. I'd normally go mad at somebody saying that, but I'm finding it hard to argue with today. This afternoon, I got really depressed about it, thinking, how are we ever going to pull back out of this? And I was even at the point of thinking, I can't be bothered to do a podcast. I'll just go down to the village pub, have a glass of red wine. And then I booked my ideas up. Because I think we've got to keep talking. And if you like what I'm doing, by the way, please feel free to contribute. We've got a thing called www.buymeacoffee.com. You go on there and you / to Jon Gaunt, and you can donate anything from a $5 upwards. That really helps. Also, if you could, you can do it on here as well. Whilst I'm on YouTube, you can click that little $sign and you can donate anything from a couple of quid. If you could do that, it would help. Just got to tell you, I arranged 3 interviews for next week. I keep telling you, we're going to start having interviews, not in the main show. I'm going to do set piece interviews. People have been saying to me, who with? And I said, people who are interesting or who interest me. So it's not always going to be politicians or politics. And they're going to stand alone. They're going to be part of the same channel, but I'm going to do them as a pre-record and then put them up, not during this show, but during the day. And you can watch them or listen to them at your pleasure. Got some good people lined up already, interesting people. I'm going to talk about the future of British pubs with one guy and hospitality. Howard Cox wants to come on. Going to have him on. So there's I won't say all the names now, but basically I was amazed because I texted a few people out of my contact book and they've all said, yes, that's good for your confidence, let me tell you. So that's what I'm doing. So that's all coming next week. But if you can help fund me, that would be really great. Can we vote our way out of this? Will there be anything left by the next election? No, I just hope that he's so abysmal, Moonhawk, that he just can't survive 4 years. He just can't. There's got to be a vote of no confidence in him. I mean, an Angela, whatever. We'll see. Evening, Mr. Gaunt, says Dark Angel. Evening, Dark Angel. Good to have you on board. Shane W says, I remember Gaunty from LBC. No, you don't. Lots of people say this. I was never, ever on LBC. I should have been. I would be the perfect antidote to that James O'Brien, who I'm so afraid to say is still alive and spewing his bile out all over the airwaves of, it's a nation now. It's a national station. Well, sort of. Anyway, no, I was never on LBC. I was on BBC London. David Marks, that was so sad seeing Jeff Lynne cancel his ELO gig in London. Yes, it was, but it's not really on our agenda today. Although I will tell you, my best mate Dave, he went down Saturday, went to see Stevie Wonder on Saturday afternoon, and then was meant to see ELO the next day. And of course, then he cancelled. Let's hope he gets well again. Why can't we make the lovely people who arrive on boats go in the army when they arrive? That would put them off from coming, perhaps. But I don't actually think you'd want them in the army, would you? I don't know. Let's move on. Philip Reeves, John, have you seen the DJE Media video on YouTube on the Just Eat workers? No, I haven't. Is it interesting? Send me a link and I'll have a look at it, my friend. So thank you for that. Where are we next? I'm also always surprised that these engineers and doctors have lowered themselves into delivering grub. Yeah, I'll be a little bit careful with that comment. I agree with you, Mark the Vicar, on YouTube. But I always remember my dad went to Cuba and he came back and he said, we had an amazing couple of waiters. I said, oh, yeah, why? He said, well, one of them was a rocket scientist. And I laughed. And he said the other one was a surgeon. I said, get out of it. He said, no. And my dad wasn't reconstructed at all. He said, look, they've got the highest educational standards in the whole, I think, of the Caribbean at the time, Castro. And these were highly talented people, highly skilled, highly educated, but couldn't get work and couldn't get out of Cuba. So they were waiting on tables. So some of these people might be, and they might be fleeing persecution, and therefore, they've had to leave behind that kind of lifestyle. So let's be a little bit careful. But yeah, 80% of them are just trying it on, aren't they? I'm with you on that. Kevin Cunning, you haven't made a comment, Kevin, but thank you for that. Michael Wilmot, 50 councils Labour run, 50 grooming gangs. Well, that is true. That's why they didn't want the inquiry, or that's what some people say. I don't know. We'll get a few more comments in now if you want to give me them. I've seen them dipping their fingers a few times when delivering to neighbours' houses. Let alone, you don't know if they're putting anything in the meals. Yuck. Yeah, well, Terry, that's true. And when you see them get off but they don't look particularly, how would I put it, clean, do they? I don't think we've got the highest food standards at play. They don't seem to wear plastic gloves when they're getting off their bikes to deliver. I mean, I don't know, because I haven't had them deliver for me. Yeah, I had an Amazon guy come yesterday, couldn't speak a word of English. I think I just put him at a disadvantage. I think he needs to learn, don't you? But all of these companies, they don't care whether they're delivering in Britain or not, do they? I'm talking about it's corporate greed, yeah? And I think we should be demanding of our prime minister to make these companies only employ people in the correct manner. It's a loophole at the moment. If you go along to one of these companies and say, oh, I'm self-employed, they go, oh, that's fine. Then they don't have to do identity checks. And then what they do is they swap their rounds, so to speak. I had this with Uber. I remember talking about this about 6 months ago on a podcast. I'd needed an Uber to get me somewhere. I had to get somewhere quick. So I called it, and I was in the street down the bottom of where I live, actually. And it didn't turn up. And then suddenly my phone rings and I says, hello. He says, it's the Uber driver in sort of pidgin English. I said, yeah, where are you? He said, well, where are you? I said, well, I'm waiting exactly where I'm meant to be meeting you. I'm here too. You must be lying. I said, hold on a minute, son. Why would I lie to you? You're just the Uber driver. I don't even know who the bloody hell you are, Abdul, or whatever your name is. He goes, well, I'm here now. I said, then it dawned on me. What car are you in? And he said something like a white Volvo. I said, hang on my app, it says you should be in a Pyrrhus and a grey one. Oh, I don't know about that. It must be a mistake at the headquarters. So I walk over to him. I got in the car. Then I thought, hang on. Am I insured now? Because he's obviously not using the right car. So I got back out again. I messaged Uber and they just gave me short shrift on it. I wanted my money back. And they had the cheek to charge me for cancelling it. This is where it scares me. You don't know who's knocking on your door with your lukewarm pizza, do you? You don't know who's driving your Uber. Well, you do if you're clever. I've always told my girls, when you get in, photograph the car and photo the reg as you get it and check it is the right reg. I'm not suggesting all Uber drivers or all of these illegals are sexual deviants, but it makes you wonder. And we've got enough of our own, haven't we? But you see, Starmer doesn't give an SH1T, nor do any of those politicians. It doesn't affect their lives. It doesn't affect their lifestyles. They'll still keep picking up their huge salary and their expenses. It doesn't affect them. But it's beginning to affect people like you and I. And that's why I think this country at the moment is a powder keg. Right. Have you enjoyed the show? If you have, please tell all your friends. The best thing you can do for me is at the end of this program, tweet the link or Facebook the link to other people. I put the replay of the show up almost straight away. So please do that for me. And if you want to help me financially, and I'm not too, I've had that over the weekend. Well, again, these socialist types, oh, you're begging. And I've tried to explain to them the difference between begging, right, which is asking for money for nothing, and doing what I'm doing. I've created a product, and if people like the product, I say, would you mind donating? Must say, well done to Helen. She donated this afternoon. So if you fancy donating, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. And I don't think it's begging. Absolutely not. Just like the Big Issue. I remember interviewing John Bird all those years ago when he set up the Big Issue. And he said, it's not going to be begging, John. They're going to sell a magazine. And you have a choice. Do you want to buy it or not? And actually, the Big Issue is quite a good magazine. You can't buy one of every person you see. Anyway, that's that. Or donate on here by clicking that little $sign. No one's done it today, but if you fancy doing it, that would be good. And then you get your name mentioned as well. All right. I'm just going to finish up. What's this one? YouTube. Rob P. Gaunty was great on TalkSport. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't where I was happiest, if I'm truthful with you. I was happiest at BBC Three Counties in Luton. They, as in migrants, will only fight against us, says Nigel. Well, I don't know, Nigel. I don't think you can say categorically, can you? It's a large group of people. But I can't see how you could conscript them into the army anyway. The army doesn't want conscripts. They certainly don't. They don't want the dinghy boys from Dover. Good evening. Are you dog sitting again this week? Yes, I am. Till Thursday. Yeah. I actually like it. I come down here and I lose myself. I came down this morning, actually, on the train. And, so I'm looking after the dog, yeah. And tomorrow I'll go for a long walk with them. I only did a short one today. So I prefer it when you go for a long one. Hey, John, I don't know how it would be organised, but a national strike is called for. Enough is enough. We're being mugged off. The working man's mental health is going off a cliff. Great show, mate, says Villagaz74. Thank you, Villagaz. That's a very good comment. What's this one? Jackie Ward, 3 hearts. I always like getting those off her. Good night, sir, says Mark the Vicar. So that's for you. Thank you. And Philip Reeves has sent me that YouTube link. Here you go. This is the YouTube link to the delivery guys. I shall have a look at it later, my friend. Got to go shopping first, but the village shop, the co-op. So thank you. Although I'm on a dilemma there because they've stopped selling anything from Israel. And I don't agree with that kind of petty, stupid politics. So, yeah. So that's me knackered for me avocado. I was going to smash an avocado in memory of Keir Starmer. But anyway, just before I go, where is the outrage? Why are we not worried about losing our British values, our culture, and our tradition? Why aren't we getting more wound up about mass, uncontrolled immigration, corporate betrayal like this thing with the food companies? Political weakness. I think we're very upset with Starmer, but there's not much more we can do about him. We've all told him he's a div. But what about the death of British pride? And I think Jaguar is also a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. All those brilliant craftsmen and craftwomen, because it's mostly men. I again had some feminists from London pick, it's only men who work in factories, to which I had to say, no, but when I'm talking about over the generations, it was primarily men. I do apologise. I'll whip myself with a copy of The Female Eunuch by Germaine Greer later, if that's okay with you. Yeah, just leave me alone. It's just nonsense. So that's it. So the final question, I'd like to comment on this on Twitter or whatever. Is the UK still Great Britain? Illegal immigration, woke corporations and weak leadership have hollowed it out. Macron speaking in Parliament, Trump effectively banned, Jaguar goes work, Deliveroo profits off the black economy. I'm Jon Gaunt, and I say it's time to wake up. Do you agree with me? 25 likes, that's brilliant. Craig says, thank you, John, and take care. I will do. Denise Deacon says, sadly, no. I don't know what she's saying sadly no to, but thank you very much indeed. Right, that's me done. Have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. I might even do a bonus one tomorrow. I've got a little idea I'm working on. If not, I'll see you at 6:30 tomorrow. And until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug, and don't forget to tell them you love them. Thanks for watching and listening. Speak to you later.